Everyone, my name is Keon and I'm a certified personal trainer and group fitness instructor at Shreds Gym in Ladera Ranch, California. And today I'm going to be taking you through a quick beginner core strengthening workout, okay? So I have 4 movements that I want to show you and some progressions of a couple of them. I'm going to be doing about 2 sets on camera, and I encourage you to do them along with me. And if you'd like to do a third set, then you can go ahead and pause the video at any moment and do a third set and then resume the video and continue on with the exercises that I'm going to show you. So with that said, let's get right into it. I'm going to move this chair out of the way and I'm going to get on the ground. Okay, so I encourage you to get on the ground with me if you can. All right. So the 4 exercises I have for you today are all going to focus more on core stability. So what that is basically being able to generate stiffness around your core so that you can be more upright and not flex as much basically around your spine. Okay, so there are a lot of different ways to train this, and there are different exercises for more traditional core strengthening, such as crunches and sit-ups and that type of stuff. I won't be showing you any of those today. This is more going to be for, like I said, strengthening the stability of our core, and it should help with lower back pain if you're experienced with it. Hopefully it will help. So with that said, let's get into it, okay? I want you to get on your back and we're gonna start off with just a very simple ab brace, okay? So what we're gonna do, you're gonna lay flat on our back, okay? I want your knees bent, all right? Knees bent, flat on your back, all right? And from here, I want you to take a breath into your stomach. Really feel it expand, okay? So if you can, I don't know if you can tell, but when I breathe in, my stomach expands. I don't want you taking shallow breaths into your chest, okay? I want you taking deep breaths into your stomach, into your diaphragm, okay? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a deep breath into our diaphragm, okay? Then from here, we are going to press our lower back into the ground, okay? See that movement right there? Press it into the ground, okay? You can think of this as basically pulling your rib cage down. So if you have some space here underneath your back, you can think of it as you're pulling your rib cage down. So now there's no space. I can't fit my hands underneath here. Or consequently, you can also think of if someone had their hand underneath there, you're trying to squish their hand with your back, okay? All right, so you're trying to squish their hand with your back. So what we're gonna do is take a breath into your diaphragm, squish your back, your lower back into the ground. We're gonna hold for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it's important, don't hold your breath while we do this. You wanna initially get that breath of air into your stomach and brace, but from here on out, you're allowed to breathe freely, and I encourage you to breathe as well, okay? So we're gonna go for a second rep. We're gonna do this 20 times. So that was 1, take that breath in, brace. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, breath in, brace. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, brace. 4, 2, 4, 5, release, brace. 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, brace. 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, brace. 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, breath, brace. 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, breath, brace. 9, 3, 4, 5, release, breath, brace. 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, brace. 11, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, breath, brace. 12, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, breath, brace. 13, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, brace. 14, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, brace, 15, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, 16, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, brace, 17, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, 18, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, 19, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, and 20, 2, 3, 4, 5, release. All right, now take a quick break, and we're gonna do a second set. Like I said earlier on, I'm only going to do 2 sets with you just for the sake of time for the length of this video. I don't want it to be too long, but I'll go ahead and do that second video with you. And then if you'd like, you can pause the video afterwards and do a third set before I move on to the next exercise, okay? All right. And if you just did that and you felt a little bit sore or fatigued or you felt that burn, that's okay. That's kind of what we want. All right. If you don't feel that, that's also okay. This is still a good exercise for you to learn how to properly brace your core. Okay. So again, we're going to do 20 more. All right. So breath in, brace, push that lower back into the ground. 2, 3, 4, 5, release, brace, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, brace, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, brace, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, brace, 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, brace, 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, release. And I really want you to push that lower back into the ground as hard as you can. All right, as long as you don't have pain. Brace, 11, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, 12, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, 13, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, 14, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, 15, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, 16, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, 17, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, 18, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, 19, 2, 3, 4, 5, release, and finally 20, 2, 3, 4, 5, release. All right. Now, even if you're a little bit more advanced, and like I said, that was too easy for you, this is still a great exercise to do before you do something more advanced, such as a plank, etc., as a way to prime your core so that your core is working the way it should be when you get onto those tougher movements, and you'll be ready to go when those movements come around. With that said, we're going to move on to our next exercise, which is going to be a little bit more challenging, okay? What we're going to do is called a supine march. So all supine means is you're laying on your back like this. So we're going to get to that same position that we were, knees bent, feet flat on the ground. Again, now that we know how to brace and we know how to breathe properly, we are going to utilize that in pretty much every exercise that we do from now on, okay? So we are, again, going to brace, take a breath in, push our lower back into the ground, and from here, we're going to lift one leg up slightly, okay, and then back down. Lift the other leg up slightly, back down. And that looks kind of like a march, so it's called a supine march, okay? So we are going to do that for 20 reps, 2 sets of 20, so 10 aside, okay? All right, and we will begin right now, and I'll do it with you, and I want you to do it along with me. So again, get your breath in, brace that core, press that lower back into the ground, and march. 1, nice and slow. 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, keep breathing. 6, but maintain that brace. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Brace. 12. Make sure you're pushing into the ground. 13, 14. Nice and slow. 15, 16, 17. Brace. 18. Keep bracing. 19 and 20. All right. So even myself, I experienced a little bit of fatigue and burn from doing just that because it's actually pretty challenging if you do it properly, right? If you get that breath in and you really pull your rib cage down, press into your lower back into the ground, it can be actually really challenging. So I encourage you to do the best you can. We're going to take a little break right now, and then we're going to go back into our second set, okay? We are going to begin now. So breath in, brace as hard as you can. Really make sure, engage those abdominal muscles as if someone was about to punch you right in the stomach, okay? And you want to basically prevent it from hurting as much as possible, right? So you want to tighten everything up. So breath in, brace down, push as hard as you can with your lower back to the ground, and then march. 1, nice and slow. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Keep bracing. 10. Nice and slow. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Brace. 19. Last one. 20. And relax. Okay. All right. Hopefully that wasn't too bad for you. And if it was, that's totally okay. We're going to work on it and get better. Okay. So that, like I said, is called a march. Okay. Now we're going to move on to something called a heel touchdown, or sometimes referred to as a 90-90 march. So it's basically the same thing as what we just did. It's just a little bit more challenging. We're going to start with our feet in the air. Okay, so again, I want you to lie supine on your back. All right. Okay, but instead of starting with our feet on the ground, we are going to start with our feet up in the air. This makes it a little bit more demanding on your core, a little bit tougher, okay? So again, we're going to take that breath of air into our stomach, brace our core, push our lower back into the ground. And from here, we're just going to tap the ground with our heel nice and softly, nice and slow. You don't want to just be kicking the ground like this, okay? Brace, nice and slow, okay? So now that you get the idea, we are going to begin. Again, we're going to do 2 sets of 20, so 10 per side twice. All right, with a little break in between. Here we go. Get that breath of air in, get your legs up into this chair. Notice how my knees are at a 90-degree angle. That's why it's kind of called a 90-90 march sometimes. So 90 degrees here, 90 degrees at the hip. Okay, now that we're bracing, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, brace. 5, nice and slow. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Keep breathing. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. All right, relax. Okay, that's the first set. Now, like for the other ones, if you're really truly holding yourself accountable and you're bracing as hard as you can, pushing your back into the ground, that's actually a very challenging exercise. I could feel my core burning. I'm starting to sweat a little bit. It is challenging. So make sure you're holding yourself accountable. If you're not bracing very properly and you're allowing some space in between your back and the lower ground and your core is not doing anything, it doesn't matter what you're doing with your legs, whether you're bringing them up and down or whatnot. there's not going to be much core activation going on. So I really want you to focus on that bracing part, okay? The leg component can come after. So let's get back into it. We're going to do another set, okay? Feet up in the air in this chair position. Brace your core, push your back in the ground, and nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, brace. 5, 6, 7, 8, nice and slow. 9, 10, brace. 11, 12, make sure you're bracing. 13, 14, picture someone's hand in between your back and the ground and you're squishing it. That was 16, 17, 18, you're squishing it as hard as you can. 19 and 20. All right. Okay. So that, like I said, is the heel touchdown or the 90-90 march. That one's a pretty good one. I can feel my abs burning a little bit right now. And now we're going to go into the last exercise I have planned for you today. So what this exercise is called is a dying bug. Sometimes referred to as a dead bug, but I think that's a pretty stupid name because dead bugs don't move and we want to move during this exercise, okay? So I'm going to show you a regression of the dying bug in the first set, and in the second set I'm going to show you the more traditional dying bug, and you're free to do either variation. I'll let you decide depending upon your fitness level, okay? So I want you to give yourself some room to fully extend your legs, so I can fully extend mine before hitting the wall here, okay? I'm actually going to move my computer over just a bit so you can see the whole thing. All right, so we are going to start with the dying bug, all right? And in the dying bug, you start from the same position that you did for a heel touchdown. So in this position, but this time I want your hands up in the air, okay? We're gonna take that breath in, brace our core, push your lower back as hard as you can into the ground, squish whoever's hand is right there as hard as you can. And from here, you're going to fully extend your leg. Okay, a little bit too close to the wall. Okay, so again, in this position, in the chair, brace your core, extend your leg, okay? Extend your leg straight out, keep the other one still, keep your hands still, bring it back in. That's 1, 2, nice and slow. Your leg should not hit the ground. 4, we're gonna do 2 sets of 20. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, brace, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, brace, 18, 19, and 20. Wow, that is tough, okay? That is a really challenging exercise, although it might not look like it. If you're doing it properly, like I said, that's gonna be one of the hardest ones we've done today. And it's making me sweat, it's making my abs burn, my core burn. That's good, that's what we want. We're working on that stability, we're strengthening our core. Okay, I'm gonna give you a quick rest, all right? Since that one was pretty tough, I'll give you a little bit longer rest, and then I'll explain what the harder variation is. The harder variation is going to be same thing with your legs. You're going to kick one out at a time, but this time as you kick one leg out, you're going to extend your opposite arm back. So it's kind of look like a kind of seesawing motion a little bit, and that's where the dying bug name comes from, because it kind of looks like the legs of a bug dying and they're flailing around, okay? So with that said, let's get back into it, all right? I'm going to show you the movement first and some common mistakes, and then we'll do our set, okay? So you get your hands and feet here. Remember, breath into stomach, brace your core. And so what you want to do is you want to extend your opposite arm out and your opposite leg out, neither of which are touching the ground, and your other arm and your other leg stay here. See how they're still here? I'm shaking these two, they're still there. Then you bring it back in, and then you go out with the other two, okay? See how these two that I'm shaking are still in the original position? You bring it back in. What a lot of people do is they'll go like same arm, same leg, all right? Or like that, same arm, same leg, backwards. Or they'll do the right opposite arm, opposite leg, but then they'll bring their arm forward, their opposite arm forward. So I want you to try and avoid that as much as possible. It is very challenging. When I first learned this exercise in physical therapy, when I was doing physical therapy for my back, it took me a solid amount of time to get that coordination down, to really have my opposite arm, opposite leg go out and my other two stay still. It took me maybe a week or two of doing these exercises a couple times a week before I could do it on my own and do it right. If that's the case with you, that is totally fine. Do not worry about it. You just practice it and you practice, and you'll get better, and eventually you get it down. Okay? So with that said, I'm going to show you the right way to do it. I'm going to do that way with you right now. If this is too challenging for you, feel free to just do the leg version that we did just a couple minutes ago on our first set. You can do that one right now as well instead of the full-on version. If that first version was too easy for you, then you can go ahead and try this with me. Now, the most important thing to remember is, regardless of what you do with your legs and with your hands, if you do the right thing with your legs and your hands, or you do the wrong thing, or whatever, but you're not bracing, then it doesn't matter. If you're really bracing as hard as you can, and you happen to do the right thing with your legs, but then your arm comes forward, it's not that big of a deal, because this is what's really important, okay? So that's what I want to emphasize. I want to emphasize that bracing aspect of the exercise, okay? So let's get in the starting position. Again, we're going to do 20, okay? Breath into your stomach, into your diaphragm, brace your core. Opposite arm, opposite leg, maintain that brace. 1, maintain that brace. 2, 3, 4, keep breathing. 5, but still brace as hard as you can. 6, it gets easy to lose it as you extend your arm and leg, but make sure that you're bracing. 7, 8, 9, don't let your arm or leg touch the ground. 10, keep that brace, keep breathing. 11, 12, 13, nice and slow. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, brace as hard as you can. 19, squish your back into the ground. And 20. Whew. All right, that burns, okay? But we made it. So that's 2 sets of that. And like I said, if you are willing and able to do a third set, I encourage you to do so. You can pause the video right now and do that third and final set. But if not, that is it for today. And those are 4 really good exercises that you can practice in order to properly learn how to brace that core and really make your core much more stable, okay? I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this helped. And I'll see you next time with a more advanced version of some core stability exercises. Take care.